In June 2007, professional wrestling reached peak cultural dominance, yet its core economic machine was hours away from total paralysis. A corporate media buyer in New York sat holding a pen over a multi-million-dollar ad package, suddenly freezing as a cable news ticker detailed the tragic double-murder-suicide of star performer Chris Benoit. Within days, the United States House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform launched a sweeping investigation into wrestler wellness, head trauma, steroid abuse, and systemic corporate neglect. The public saw a horrific human tragedy unfolding on live television. Wall Street saw an unspeakable, existential brand liability threatening an entire industry. Why would a wrestling promoter built entirely on edgy and censored violence voluntarily dismantle the exact shock value formula that turned it into a dominant global media empire? Now look closely at this. I'm no financial advisor. I just read public SEC filings and congressional transcripts, and the paper trail reveals a cold mechanical reality. The immediate fallout wasn't just a public relations crisis. It threatened to trigger a silent, catastrophic collapse of blue-chip corporate sponsorship revenue and network broadcast deals. WWE had spent a decade capitalizing on unscripted chaos and adult entertainment, but the moment federal lawmakers threatened formal regulatory oversight, the cold logic of corporate self-preservation kicked in, setting off an unprecedented structural transformation. Think of WWE in 2007 like an unlicensed, ultra-popular fireworks stand operating in a crowded strip mall parking lot. It generates massive, instant cash on high-risk thrills, but the moment a strict municipal fire inspector steps onto the pavement with a clipboard, the entire supply line faces immediate shutdown. To understand why wrestling changed, you have to follow the money past the television ring and straight into the institutional corporate boardroom. Wall Street equity funds do not care about storyline character arcs, dramatic ring payoffs, or crowd pops. They care deeply about downside risk management and long-term brand safety. When the public relations team told television viewers that WWE was simply returning to family-friendly, wholesome entertainment, they were cleverly packaging a financial defense mechanism as a creative choice. The underlying unit economics told a completely different story. Sure, internal critics argued that stripping away blood, adult themes, and unprotected steel chair shots would alienate the hardcore fanbase and tank monthly pay-per-view buys. And for a brief moment, that fear held real weight. But pay-per-view buys were a highly volatile, unpredictable revenue stream dependent on individual consumer impulse spending. Guaranteed Fortune 500 ad inventory, on the other hand, offered stable, multi-year recurring revenue at premium pricing tiers. WWE could no longer survive as a niche, high-risk carnival spectacle in a modernized media landscape. Therefore, executive leadership executed a ruthless structural pivot that deliberately sacrificed fan nostalgia to secure institutional legitimacy. In mid-2008, WWE officially announced its formal transition to TVPG television rating compliance across all broadcast programming. But behind the scenes, the true structural catalyst was the signing of a landmark, multi-year master toy licensing contract with global giant Mattel, alongside long-term distribution guarantees with major broadcast networks. Mattel did not merely request a cleaner product. Their corporate mandate required zero intentional bleeding on screen, an absolute ban on direct steel chair shots to the skull, and the immediate erasure of risque storylines. Let me anchor this with numbers. Before this pivot, television networks categorized pro wrestling as low-grade trash TV, which severely penalized their ad rates. Even when pulling massive Nielsen cable ratings, WWE was earning pennies on the dollar compared to mainstream live sports broadcasts because Tier 1 corporate advertisers refused to place ad inventory near graphic violence. That's enough lost yield to bleed tens of millions of dollars in potential revenue every single quarter. By enforcing a strict PG compliance checklist, WWE opened the floodgates to global corporate sponsors like General Mills, Kmart, and major automotive brands. Why does this trade-off matter? Because it fundamentally re-engineered the unit economics of professional wrestling. The company deliberately traded away the volatile, high-spending 18 to 34-year-old male demographic to capture a far more lucrative, stable market: co-viewing families and young children. A single young adult buys one pay-per-view event a month, but a family buys action figures, video games, live event tickets, and branded apparel every single week. This structural transformation insulated WWE against regulatory threats and constructed an impenetrable competitive moat, setting up a predictable cash flow machine. Fast forward to today, and follow a parent walking down a brightly lit toy aisle at Target. They reach out and pick up a brightly packaged, pristine action figure for their child without giving a single thought to the dark, violent history of the business behind it. That seamless, frictionless retail purchase is the ultimate proof of a corporate masterstroke executed under extreme existential pressure. The 2007 congressional investigation didn't destroy WWE. It inadvertently forced the company to modernize its entire financial architecture. The common belief is that wrestling went soft because out-of-touch writers ran out of edgy ideas or surrendered to vocal parental complaints. The structural reality is far more calculated. WWE voluntarily neutralized its most violent creative assets to transition from a fringe, high-risk carnival attraction into a sanitized, institutional-grade global media behemoth. They didn't change the product to please the fans. They changed the product to control the capital. And in the cold logic of modern corporate entertainment, that was the only match